Okay, so 150 mil travel, 29er from the Swiss gods.
The BMC FS01 29.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of travel for a 29er. It's kind of interesting. I mean, this is riding as much travel just about as the Enduro 29er, which made big waves. I think this one's kind of flying a little bit under the radar. They announced it at Crankworks. I was pretty excited to run the bike, but I don't know. There's some things I really dug. Right, incredibly light, 5.5 pound frame, and the component kit on this is insane. XX1.
Oh, it's such a good spec.
Yeah, like someone's personal bike.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like. Like everything about it was like, oh, I would have that on my own bike.
Yeah, and it even had the reverb lever switched on the underside of the left side, which is like what everybody runs it like.
Yeah,
you know, it was somebody's personal bike.
Yeah, no. So there's a lot of thoughtful details going on, and everything, all the way from the tire spec to to the shifters, and there's a lot that I liked, but maybe again our course isn't the right course for this, but it has a 47-inch wheelbase, and on those kind of tight corners and slow speed moments, it kind of sucked. I thought, frankly, I wasn't terribly stoked on it. I mean, I'm sure it feels really stable at high speeds, but this isn't the course for it. So,
yeah, and I happened to ride it a little bit off the test course a bit too, and yeah, like when you get it going down a flat out, super like chunky downhill, it's great. Like it sucks everything up. It holds a line really well. It's stable. It's confident. But man, as soon as you start to like try and get that thing into a switchback, game over. You know, I was washing the front end out. I just could not. It was too much bike to handle.
I felt exactly the same. The front end, I just couldn't rein it in. For some reason, I just can't work it out. It had a nice wide bar, almost 30 inches, a super short 50 mil stem.
Yeah.
Like the length of the front center looks like it's about right. I mean, it has some pretty good tires. Would have thought it had some traction, but I just was losing my front end, and I still can't work out what it is.
Well, you can't work out the front end, but the rear end is still also a little problematic. This is the only bike that had a Fox Float X rear shock that I couldn't get to feel fantastic. I ran it at 25% sag, and then I moved over to 30%, fiddled with it a lot, and it just never really felt that good.
I did the opposite thing. I started at 30, and it just felt like it was bobbing all over the place. And I was running it on climb mode, even just while meandering along the trail, and it was sacrificing the climbing quite a bit. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just increase the air pressure a little bit. So I started running 25% sag, and it felt a little bit better, but I still wasn't that pleased.
Now, how did it feel on the more technical downhills?
On the descents, it felt supple and good. I mean, I felt like it was tracking well and stuff, but I felt like I wasn't in control of the bike. It was riding me instead of me riding it.
Yeah, that's it 100%.
It has to be said that Float X shock on every other bike we've seen it on is a radical improvement. It's a great suspension unit. But on this one, I just didn't feel like I was getting 150 mils of travel out of the rear end for some reason.
Yeah, and obviously every company works with Fox or in rock shocks to get the right tune, and I just don't feel like they got the right tune out of that shock this time around. Because on every other bike, it's felt fantastic. A lot of money. I mean, obviously we haven't got a price confirmation, so if you see a little box underneath us talking that blows up the correct price, then you know. But right now, the reports on the web are that it's about $9,000.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's like 2 expensive bikes in one.
And I mean, considering the fact that the bike is designed in Switzerland, where they have super tight, technical, chundery, rocky single track, you'd think that it'd be better performing bike in those tight situations, but it really all it really does well, from my experience anyway, was going in a straight line down technical terrain. Now, I didn't think it was excellent at climbing, and I didn't think it was great at the tight stuff.
Which a bike like this is going to need to be a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
And for $9,000, you'd want it to be at least competent at everything. Probably amazing at a lot of things, but it's not.
They should cook you breakfast in the morning too.
And do your taxes.
And do your taxes. Yeah.
And maybe an old...
Yeah. Again, it's serious. We don't have a price confirmation, but all the other BMCs that have this kind of component spec have rolled in about that much money. Made in Switzerland.